What is a man, my brothers? You see, this topic is so difficult that the truth is you and I no longer know what a real man even looks like. Men have now become myths, legends, stories that belong to history books. What makes a man? Who do you really aspire to be like? We have this culture that a real man, I'm really trying to hold back. I'm doing my best. Wallah, I'm doing my best. We don't have deen, we have the streets. That's what we are, bro. We're thugs. We're gangsters. We're boys. Even the people that are, even the old satis, wallah, with all my love and all my respect and all the whole protocol, we're thugs. We're monsters, bro. We're savage. We're hyenas. That's what we are. We act like we want Allah and His Prophet. But as soon as push comes to shove, as soon as I'm moved, as soon as you step on my toes, the real inner me comes right out. Who's a man? We have this thing that on the streets, especially the young boys, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That a real man, what are the qualities that define a man? Today, in this day and era, a real man knows how to fight. A real man, and that's why some people physically don't know how to fight, he feels it becomes an insecurity for him. He feels like he's not man enough. Why? Because a real man, we have this sick, that if you don't know how to fight, if you don't know how to swing them, then brother, you're not a man. We've brought jahiliyyah and tried to make it deen. That's why, not just amongst Muslims, but the world at large, physical contact sports has taken over the world. I'm not here to tell you it's halal and haram. I don't care. That's not my message here today. But the fact we're so obsessed with knowing how to fight is a sign not only of our insecurities, but how unmanly we really are. So we have this epidemic now amongst the boys. You know and I know, if we're really honest, that anyone that knows how to fight, he has this unspoken respect on the street that you just gotta make way for him, bro. We love it. That's become the measuring stick of how manly you are. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and please for the love of Allah, live the story, live the hadith. Don't just listen for the entertainment of it, bro. But what significance? Why was this story narrated? Why has this story been passed on from generation to generation? Is it by chance? Is it mere coincidence? Or is there a reason for it? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam walks into the masjid. Are you with me? Yes or no? Please can we close that door, bro? The Prophet ﷺ walks into the masjid. When he walks in, he finds the Sahaba. What were they doing? They were wrestling. Do you think this is new? Do you think you wanting to know how to fight and that fighting makes you a man, do you think that's something new? The Prophet came to cure the diseases of humanity. So he walks into the masjid sallallahu alayhi wasallam, finds the companions wrestling. You know, I have this obsession with trying to imagine the atmosphere. Like imagine being there live. You know, sometimes as mates, you're fooling around. You're doing things that and you wouldn't do if a woman was watching. You wouldn't do if your father was watching. You know, your mates, kicking back. We're having a laugh. We're having a giggle. So the Sahaba, they're in the masjid and they're wrestling. They're manhandling each other. They were doing exactly what you and I do. So he walks in, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, catches them in the act, and very quickly things become awkward. You know, it was all fun and games before the Prophet walked in, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now, imagine the guy that had the other guy in the headlock. And the Prophet walks in. Ooh. Ooh. But he saw, wow, sallallahu, what a man, bro. What a teacher. What a Allahu Akbar, sallallahu. Who? He walks in. He knew exactly what was happening. He knew exactly, but to teach. So he says to them, what are you doing? So they said, O Prophet of Allah, we're wrestling. He says, why? Why? Yeah, I know you're wrestling. See? You see the doctor? You see how the doctor, he's trying. He wants to put his finger right on the pulse. He says, why? So they said, O Prophet of Allah, to see who amongst us is who's the strongest? Who's the man? Young boys, young men, please listen, understand. Seniors, you also. So he says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, the man amongst you, the strongest amongst you, is not the one that can manhandle the other. That's not how men are determined. Any big beast can move something out of the way. He says that's not how men are determined. He says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the one that knows what a man is and what a man isn't. He says, the man amongst you is the one who, when a calamity befalls him, when a situation arises in front of him, he can control his anger. That's the man.